I hope you all are enjoying this so far. It feels like there's been a lot of energy and excitement. The chat is just on fire. I love this. It's just been a blast hosting you today, and the rest of this afternoon is going to be a ton of fun. So I would love to invite Rach Richardson and Bradford Jones up with me now, and then I'm going to give them the mic, pass off the keys to the Zoom kingdom here so they can take you through season 2 of Extreme Home Makeover.
Hey everyone, welcome to Extreme Makeover Trainual Edition, Season 2, as Jonathan mentioned. This session is not going to end with some emotional home reveal or anyone yelling, "Move that bus." But we are going to do a full makeover of one real customer account today. And I'm excited to introduce my teammate, Success Coach Rach, who's going to be handling most of that today. Hey, Rach.
Hey, Bradford. Thanks for the intro. This is going to be fun. It's a fun season 2.
I'm excited for season 2. This is going to be great. Before I hand it over to you to get everything started, I do want to introduce the customer today that's going to be getting a full account makeover. KQC Roofing. They're a locally owned and operated roofing contractor based in the heart of beautiful Great Falls, Montana. I have never been, but hope to go soon. KQC has earned its reputation as a premier specialist excelling in both metal and shingle roofing. They started their business in 2015. They currently have about 10 employees or so in the office and lots more in the field. KQC strives to create a team atmosphere where coworkers evolve into family and friends, and clients naturally become cherished friends. So if you want to check out their website during this session, Rach has it pulled up right now. Head over to kqcroofing.com. Check it out. Real company, real Trainual account. With that, Rach, I'm going to hand it over to you. I'm going to be here monitoring the chat and the Q&A with a lot of my Trainual teammates from all over the country. So we're going to be here to support you, Rach. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much. My heart is pounding, but I know that we have prepared for this. We've got some awesome stuff to show you. And I got to say, Bradford, what a great intro to KQC. What stood out to me the most is that it sounds like they're focusing on relationships, quality, and integrity. And it also sounds like they're using Trainual to convey that message to all their people. I can't wait to dive into their content. But before we do, I wanted to let you all know that we have baked some time in for questions, but it's possible that we may not get to all of them. The Q&A today is legit your best friend. Ask whatever questions you have. Even if you aren't sure or you think it's going to come up, don't hesitate. Just put it into the Q&A, because if you're like me, you'll probably forget. So I don't want you to forget. Drop it into the Q&A ASAP. And Bradford and I will do our best to get to your questions. If not, we'll get back to those questions within 24 hours. Now, with that, we're going to dive into the account. And what I want to do with you first is look at current state. We want to get a review of the house. We want to do a little tour and see what it looks like today so that we can identify some opportunities to blow up each section. I'm going to step out of the website for KQC and we're going to jump into their Trainual account. How is this looking on your end, Bradford? Can you see this well on you?
Everything looks great on my end.
Awesome. All right. So we're going to do a little bit of a tour of their current state, and I'm going to identify some opportunities that I'm seeing to glow up this account, which we'll actually do here live. So first and foremost, I am inside of Ivan's account. Ivan is the CEO and owner of KQC. I have to say it slowly, otherwise it'll just sound very different. And so I've landed on the My Desk page where Ivan has a ton of content that he has to do. What I'm already seeing in landing in this account is an opportunity to brand this profile. So that's one thing that we're definitely going to do together, is update the branding so that this looks like the KQC training environment and not Trainual. So that's what we're going to do off of the My Desk page. Let's keep navigating here on the left. Let's check out company. What do we got going on here? Perfect. So I've got 2 subjects. One is a welcome subject. The second is tech stack. This is great because they're immersing their new hires into the type of tools that they're going to be using as part of their role. That's solid. I'm going to click into the welcome subject. I want to see if this is associated with any roles. You heard us talk a lot about roles today, and I'm going to show you some really neat stuff, but it looks like this subject specifically is not assigned to any roles today. That's a neat opportunity for us. Let's keep clicking through. I'm going to skip people for now, and I'm going to click into policies on the left. And that sector looks like we've got some really great subjects already published and ready to be delivered. Here's what I'm seeing here. Huge kudos and shout out to the team, because what I'm finding is that there's major accountability at this organization. Kelsey is the one. Like, she's got ownership of every single one of these subjects. She's published them. They're micro focused on on one task and one audience. Well done, team. Establishing that accountability and the ownership of all of these subjects. As I scroll through, I am seeing a few templates. That's relative, right? You all use templates too. And how often don't we download them and leave them as a placeholder in our account? I'll show you a neat way to flex that so that it's really clear on your policies page. So I've got some stuff to show you here. Let's see. Let's go into processes. Bradford, let me know if I'm going a little bit too quickly here. I get excited. You got to let me know.
You're doing great, Rach.
Awesome. All right. Oh man, I love it when I go to an account and I see collections. Collections tell me that KQC has already started thinking about the groups that they need to deliver content to. Remember, Taylor was talking about groups, and so was Chris, and this awesome framework of how we're going to be able to deliver to groups later on. It's still relative because here we have collections for the executive assistant, a future collection state for a production manager, which they'll need to build content to. Operations manager, sales. This is really great. I think you all did a great job here. I've got a few things that I can show you for these ungrouped subjects, and then I'd like to look at some of this content with you. So that's something that we'll do. Continuing this review of the current state of this house. Let's go to reports. Whenever I am looking at an account, I always like to look at the subject reports because we don't always think about the reports up front. Reports are how you're going to pull information out of Trainual later on. So if you haven't really thought about what type of information do I need later, that's a good thought pattern because it's going to help you build those reports in the front end. When I'm in my report section, I like to check out the filters, and then I can filter by role. So here you can see that setting up your roles properly in the beginning or at any stage in your playbook process is really helpful because then you can pull reports and information and data on how specific groups are doing, whether it's based on a job role, location, new hire, all that good stuff. This is great. I've got a ton of stuff that I want to do here. Bradford, are we ready for demo day? Tell me, how's it going in the chat?
We're ready to get it going. Now, I know there were questions in the chat about lots of things earlier, which is good. So keep dropping questions in the chat. People were asking about shampoo earlier. I'm also open to giving shampoo recommendations if our users have those as we go. So if you want to know my shampoo, let me know. But otherwise, Rach, keep going. It looks great.
That's so funny. I was at a question I was not ready for. So good. All right, my friends, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to glow up this account. We're going to go through each and every different section. But before I do, I have to tell you, we've shown you a lot of features about future state, right? Don't wait. You don't have to wait until those features get deployed to bang on some Trainual ROI today. The stuff that I'm going to show you here is something you can literally do as soon as we finish up, and on the lunch break, you can go into your account and do these things. So yes, there will be features that are going to be new in Trainual in a few weeks, but don't worry. It's all going to be relative and it's all going to still function the same way, just better. All right, let's go. We're going to start on the left. You just saw me finish in reports. I'm going to hit up accounts and we're going to go into settings. The first thing that I want to do is I want to update the branding. Here's what I know. Your organization's profile and brand are echoed in everything throughout Trainual. So what you want to accomplish is have your people log in and see, yeah, I'm in the right training ground. This is the company I'm going to work for. So first thing I'm going to do in my settings is I'm going to update my brand styles. I'm going to go ahead and take out my Trainual logo. We love Trainual, but we want to have the logo specific to the business. I've got their logo on my desktop. So I'm going to go grab that real quick. Easy, super easy. I'm going to update that logo. While that loads there, perfect. You see how that already took on the top left of the screen? The second thing that I want to do is get rid of our purple. I love our purple, but it doesn't always match with everything. Like I said, you've got some brand standards. Let's use that. I'm going to go ahead and copy the hex code that I have for this beautiful red that KQC has. Pop that in here, take out the extra hashtag, hit that save button. That took here. I haven't saved the branding, so it hasn't updated on the full account. Before I do that, I want to do a few more things. We do have the opportunity in this account to update brand standards at the heading level. What this does is it sets us up that when we go to the step editor, all of the brand standards are updated in the headings, and I can easily highlight a piece of text, and pop it into the brand standards. I'm going to go ahead and make these changes, Bradford. And I know if they're
Yeah, while Rach is making those updates, I want to call out a couple things on the settings page. You notice that Rach accessed this via account on the left-hand side and then settings. There's two types of settings in your account-wide settings and then your personal settings. So if you click on your top right or your little image up there on the top right, you'll find your personal settings. But we're in account settings right now. So if there's ever anything you want to change account-wide, jump over here and do that. We're not going to cover too much stuff down below, but just know that you can turn on a lot of different features in here. And anytime we add beta features to Trainual, you can toggle on this page to be qualified to get those in your account. So always check for all the new settings and things that we have coming out. They'll be available on this page.
Yay, thanks, Bradford. I went ahead and updated heading 2 and heading 4. I'm going to hit Save Branding, and that's going to take in the account. Hopefully, you've already noticed that this looks different. It doesn't look like Trainual as much as I love me some Trainual. This looks like KQC. We're well on our way to blowing up this account. Now I want to take you to a different section of Trainual. Now that we've done our branding, now we can worry about content. So what I want to do is I want to show you the best way to answer this question. Is my content teaching my people in different roles how to execute on their responsibilities? I'm gonna say that again. I'm trying to say it slower because I go a little bit fast. Is my content teaching my people in different roles how to execute on their responsibilities? Join me on screen here. We're gonna head over to people. Right in the middle of that left nav, we're gonna hit roles. Role manager page is where you can answer this question. The role manager page allows you to identify different people or groups or locations or teams. Obviously, this is going to change in a bit here, but it's still going to function the same, where you can think about the audiences that you have in your business and create a role that's going to deliver content specifically to that group of people. What I want to do is I want to build out a role, and I want to show you how to leverage this page in a really like a complete way. That way you can maximize ROI, because this is kind of the catalyst to building great content throughout those other sectors: company, policy, process, and the like. If you can see on my screen here, it looks like KQC already started building out some of their roles. But if you notice, we don't have anything assigned. That's an opportunity for improvement. And it looks like we've got some gaps in terms of delivering this role to people or associating and connecting those roles to people. Let's suppose that KQC is going to hire a new person, a new executive assistant. Bradford, if it's all right with you, I'd like to hire you on behalf of KQC as their new executive assistant. Would that be okay?
Without an interview or anything? Okay. All right. If you say so, I'll do it.
Awesome. All right. So Bradford is going to be my new executive assistant at KQC. First thing I'm going to want to do is check out the existing EA role to see what's in there. Within this role, I can see that we've got the name of the role. We've got a description, super short and sweet here. That gives your admin team a clear indication of what lives within this role, what the intent of this role is. What I want to show you is this list of responsibilities. Responsibilities is a great way for you to map out what this person or this role needs to do inside of their job, and make sure that this list is captured somewhere in your content and that you're teaching them how to execute on those responsibilities. If you're not sure what those responsibilities look like, I'm a big fan of our responsibility suggesting. Here, it's looking up an executive assistant. And as you can see here, we've got some pretty good suggestions. Act as a point of contact for the CEO. Yes. Emails. Yes. Attend meetings. Adapt changes, do memos and invoices. I mean, this is pretty boss. Keep track of the CEO's activities. These are literally all the things that I need my EA to be responsible for. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and see how quickly I was able to associate a list of responsibilities for the EA. This is really helpful, but we got to take this a step further. If we continue to scroll, we can see that Kelsey is the current EA assigned to this role, but it looks like there's no subject, no content assigned to this role. Here's where it gets really fun. I'm going to hit this manage button and I can see all of the content inside of the account. Remember when I showed you collections and I told you that it was so good that they started to frame out their collections? I get to see all of the subjects that are currently placed in the executive assistant role, collection in processes, and very easily associate this role with the executive assistant content that already lives in my account. I'm going to hit save changes. And now that this content is updated here, Anytime I invite somebody new, I can give them this role, and everything listed in this subject modal is going to be given to them on their My Desk. It makes it a lot easier to bulk deliver content. I'm going to back up a second. I'm going to hit my roles, breadcrumb, and I'm going to add one new role. Because one thing I'm not seeing in their account is new hire. Remember, I told you Bradford just got sent his offer letter. He's going to be working at KQC. So we got to set him up as a new hire. I'm going to hit this plus sign, hit save. That's a new role that I created in the account. I'm going to grab a quick description here. Yes, I like this description. When you add your descriptions, short and sweet is where it's at. The place where new hires acquire the knowledge, necessary skills, and behaviors to absolutely crush their role. I love that. I'm going to go ahead and hit the role suggestion sign just to see what Trainual can offer me here for my new hire role. Yes, he has to learn the policies and procedures, complete training material, follow the handbook, review and sign the handbook. I mean, how awesome is it that I could just hit the plus sign and add all of these responsibilities? I'm going to go ahead and save that. And because this is a new hire role, I want to associate all of the company content and all of the policies inside of this role. So I'm going to go ahead and click into all of these subjects rather. I apologize. I've always wanted like a mixer where I could just press buttons and then it just does audio for me, like like that. Like it would be so fun. Anyway, I digress. Here we go. You see how I've got all of my content here? Let me show you why this is so important, how this comes full circle, and how awesome it is to start mapping out your roles and your responsibilities to give you an indicator of what content you need to teach responsibilities. This not only sets you up to build out your content, it also sets your people up as new hires to know exactly what they're responsible for and what is expected of them. If you'll join me on screen here, I'm still in my roles manager page. I want to head to the top right next to Ivan's avatar. I'm going to hit the plus sign and I'm going to invite a teammate. And the teammate that I'm going to invite is their new hire, Bradford Jones. Again, I need my mixer to be like, executive assistant. One thing that's odd about me is that I have to sing the words in order to spell them correctly. So yeah, when you invite a new user, we're going to invite Bradford as a general user because he's new, right? He's got to get new content and get acclimated with the business. What I want to call out is when I go into advanced settings, I want to make sure that I give Bradford the new hire role that's going to deliver all that company and policy content over, in addition to my EA role that's going to give him the executive assistant content. Folks, this makes it so much easier for you to invite the people and give them what they need when they need it and not bombard them with content that's not necessarily relative to their business. To their role and function in the organization. Roles can take a few different looks. Let's say, for example, KQC wants to scale, right? Which is what they're doing. And they're opening another location in Bosman. Did I say it right, Bradford?
We have a Trainual teammate that lives in Bozeman, Montana. So that may be what you're thinking of. Yeah. I know you from the East Coast, we're not as familiar with our Montana geography as others.
Yes. As Bradford says it, I said it with my New Jersey tag, Bozeman. Let's say KQC wants to open up another location. They can create a role for that location that says, here's where you park. Here's the Wi-Fi password. Here's the alarm information. Here's the fridge where you can keep the stuff in. And oh, by the way, don't bring fish to the office. All those neat location-specific details can be delivered to this individual user, leveraging those roles. I'm going to go ahead and add, and I'm going to congratulate Bradford on his new role.
Woo-hoo! One step closer.
All right, friends, we talked about the roles and the responsibilities being a signal for the type of content that you'll need in your account. It's your content roadmap because the roles, because there's the responsibilities for each people group are going to need content. Now, we built a ton in the role manager, as you just saw me do, and prepared for bulk delivery of content to the right users. As an admin, you see the role manager page, but your general users do not. If you think back to what Rachel was showing you, your general users have a different point of view. What they'll see is the org chart. I want to head over to the org chart here, and I want to showcase that KQC already built out their people org chart which is your traditional one-for-one relationship where you have one person taking one seat and it's hierarchical in nature. What I want to work on with you is the role chart. Yes, there's a chart for the roles. It's so good because you might have people wearing multiple hats. I literally practice this. Today, I might wear a hat for sales because I'm a salesperson. But what if tomorrow I want to plan our next retreat and I need to wear my bucket hat? I literally found all these hats to show you this. You can build a role chart based on the different roles that you worked so hard to map out in your role manager page. I'm going to go ahead and edit this, and I'm going to go take a pause and allow Bradford to take some questions for the chat while I build out this role chart.
Yeah, go ahead and do it, Rach. We've got lots of Trainual folks in the Q&A and in the chat, so there's not too many main things. There was one interesting question that we get in implementation a lot, and I know you all get in success coaching, which is time tracking, logging training. How can we verify people were doing it? And I've actually seen a couple companies use a really interesting way to do this. What they're doing is in Trainual, we're going to have time estimates, which Rachel will show you in a little bit, so people can plan on how long it's going to take for them to go through their training content. But if a company like KQC Roofing, who may have roofers in the field or foremen, things like that, who aren't in the office, you could actually just compensate them based on completing their content. So it's like, hey, for every subject you complete, we'll give you X amount of dollars, or we'll give you X amount of whatever. And that's kind of an incentive for them to say, hey, they can go ahead and go through the training. Maybe we're putting a test at the end so that we ensure that they understood that training and that they're good to go. But we're less focused on time. And as you mentioned, Rach, more focused on the outcome of them learning their content. So what we know, and I came up through college during that time where people were forcing us to watch videos from our professors. And I was the person who hit play and walked to the other room until I could come back and click mark completed on that. But in Trainual, when you're using tests and knowledge assessments, things like that, we're ensuring people understand it. So it's really not about the input, which is making them watch it or tracking their time, more about the outcome of it. So that's just one idea. I did see that in the chat.
Nice. I love that, Bradford. Thanks for talking us through it. And I'll show you here. It was pretty simple for me to set up this role chart. And if you notice, we've got two people taking up one position in the executive assistant. The role manager chart, the role chart allows you to take multiple people and frame out your organization in stages of groups instead of one for one. So I'm going to click back into my left nav because you're probably wondering, okay, that's nice, but why should I care? Or maybe not that way, but something along those lines. Here's why. If I head over to the directory, your people, as I mentioned before, get to see their org chart and the directory. Thank you so much, Bradford, for setting up your account here. You just saw me invite him, and I've already got his profile in here. Remember that KQC is focused on building relationships. How can you build relationships if you don't know about people? The directory is a great place for you to encourage that culture element where you teach people to share about like their favorite four-legged friends or their Colby index or how they give and receive feedback or just fun facts about them. Every single user will be able to click onto the profile of their teamies. They can see within the slide out that Bradford has two specific roles and what he's responsible for in the organization. If I click into his full profile, one little nice touch that you can add as an admin, you can leave this for your users to update themselves. But I think it's kind of nice when you log into a system and you find your photo. Bradford, you didn't get to see this. I'm so sorry. We got a copy of your headshot before the session. I didn't get to show it to you. I'm sorry, but I'm just going to pop it in here, okay?
What? I don't know what this is going to be. I'm a little nervous.
Oh, I'm sorry. You didn't get to see this? I'm so sorry. Bradford, you are officially a KQC member. And how nice is it that when you log in, you're going to feel like part of the family? This is awesome.
What? No way.
Yes, wait, Brad.
Oh my goodness.
Jacket and everything. You are so hooked up right now. How cool.
I think I saw Ivan in the chat. Yeah, there's Ivan. Ivan, I apparently am now on your team. So you've been gifted. I hope you can either handle remote work or I'm going to need to relocate from Tennessee to Montana. But wow, this is looking a little official here.
A little official or a lot of official? Because if I go back to the directory, there you are. And how special is it that you log in and you have your picture cropped on somebody else's jacket. Like, this is awesome. This is so much fun. Bradford, before we move on, are there any questions that I can answer for the audience on roles, responsibilities, or the org chart or the role chart? I want to talk about content, but I want to take a pause before I do it.
No, we haven't had any specifics on this. You've done a great job covering it, Rach. The one thing that I do like to call out on here is I know a lot of companies that join sessions like this are super focused on creating great onboarding experiences for your team members. And we help you do that with Trainual, just like Rach queued up this picture of me, which I don't know how she got. And then she could put my bio in there. She could put a lot of different things. And so we can actually craft that same experience here where Rach could put my bio in. So that way, when I log into Trainual, it's already there for me. So this is another way when you're focused on onboarding and creating that wow experience for your new employees, that you can help do that from the people side of Trainual. As Chris Ronzio talked about earlier in the session, we've really been focused on connecting people and content and all of that. So this is the next step. I'm glad you kind of showed how pictures work here.
Awesome. All right, Bradford, I want to talk about content. So where I'm going to head next is my company page. I'm going to have Bradford drop into the chat a little graphic that talks about each of these sectors and gives you some suggestions on the type of content you can add so that when we finish up today, you can open that up, make sure you download it, save it to your computer, and you can leverage that as a guide as you're doing this on your end. But what we're going to start with is the company page. I want to see if there's anything we can optimize here to make it a little bit, leveled up. I'm going to click into the Welcome to KQC Roofing subject. I know we talked a lot about roles, but it's always great to just double check and make sure that you assigned your subject to a role, which I didn't do here on the welcome subject. So I want to make sure that I hit that Manage Roles button from the subject page and assign this to the new hires, because the new hires are absolutely going to need this when they log in. So that's a really great kind of just double check that at the subject view that your subject is assigned to a role. It could be assigned to multiple roles if you like, but that's a really great call out. I'm noticing here we've got one topic that is finished and a test. I'm going to click into the topic here. I can see that KQC leveraged our welcome template. I love that thing. It's like 30 minutes to completion max. It's such a great starting point inside of Trainual. The only thing that I would add here is maybe switching up the image and making it rounded and shadowed just to make that pop out. But so far, so good. Well done, team. I'm going to click onto the origin story to check out what we've got. Yes. Oh, man. It's so good to see a founder and CEO popping in on camera and just providing context on the history and how they started and what their origin is. Well done, Ivan. Love that you've got that in there. I'm going to check out the core values here. Awesome. Core values are up and running. Remember, I showed you how to update the brand standards. Here's where we can leverage that. I'm going to highlight company values, hit the paragraph styles. I'm going to make that a 1. We're going to make this section heading 3. And then I'm going to hit this plus sign and add a little divider. I'm going to make this centered. Love it. I love it. Perfect. See how simple it is to kind of modify the content and make it pop a little bit and take the pieces and elements that you really want people to focus on, and the not ancillary, but the additional information has less of a value here. It's a really easy way to do that.
Rach, I want to make one call out because we get this question a lot sometimes is what happens when if the company rebrands or something like that. You'll notice that that horizontal line that Rach added in is already branded to this. If KQC ever rebrands or changes their color, when we go back into those settings and update the brand styles, it's all automatically going to retroactively apply to all the content there. So as you're creating content and using these brand styles like Rach is showing you how to, just know that that's what unlocks the bulk editing abilities of certain things. So just wanted to call that out while you were doing it, because I love these horizontal lines right here. I think they really help and add in great branding, but just wanted to call that out real quick.
Nice. I'm going to click on the company page and just back up here. And I want to show you one other thing on the tech subject. I saw the tech stack. The other thing I want to do here is just add an emoji to the front of the character. To the front of the subject. Wow. Rachel's getting squirrely. Let's get a computer going here. Come on. There we go. And that's a very simple way to optimize it. I know that my role is assigned, so this piece of content is good to go. I'm going to head over to policies to show you some other things that we can do here. Policies. I'm also checking time, y'all. So I apologize. My eyes are like going all over the screen. Don't worry. I'm with you. I'm here. I mentioned how proud I was that all of these subjects are published and they have ownership. It looks like there's an opportunity to update the emojis, which I'll do here in a moment. But one of the things that KQC mentioned to me was how valuable they found the social media policy template and how important it is that their users have accountability to not only that policy, but all the policies. Now that this subject is published, I'm going to take the next step of making the social media policy itself, enabling e-signature on it. And so this is a published subject. I've got 2 topics. I'm going to bring my cursor to the 3-dot ellipses at the end of the topic that has the actual policy, not the introduction, but the policy. And I'm going to require e-signature on that. And that's going to make it so that when the end users complete this content, there are signature comes up, and not only is there further accountability, well, there's accountability because we're marking everything complete and we're tracking it, but in addition, in the report section, both the user and the admin will have that signature sign off. So I love that. The other thing I've heard folks do, and you can think about this in terms of how you want your people to interact with your policies, but one thing I find people do is sometimes they'll leverage just one specific emoji in order to call out or distinguish policies from other types of content. So like, let's say for example, here, work-life balance, instead of maybe, using muscles or something like that, maybe I'll use a blue emoji, and maybe I'll update all of the policy subjects with that blue emoji so that when people receive this on their My Desk page, they know, oh yeah, the blue thing, that's going to be a policy. That's something that you can do to really help draw your users' eyes to what type of content this is. In the same way, you can take these templates. A lot of times I find folks downloading a ton of templates, which is awesome. The templates are always available to you though. You don't have to just do that in the beginning. You can do that throughout. And we're pretty good with updating and freshening up the templates. So let's say you did that and you kind of went in here and downloaded a ton of templates that are still works in progress. What I would recommend is go ahead and remove that template prefix, and then maybe use a red emoji here to identify that this is a work in progress. Folks, you can leverage the emojis and the organization of the content on the policies page however it makes the best sense for you. But I always recommend leverage the emojis, use some of those visual cues to help you organize what's done, what's not done, and make sure and reorganize your subject so that all the stuff that's published is on top and whatever you're still working on lives at the bottom there. That's a nice, easy win on your policies page to make it really nice and organized and easy to review. All right, last but not least, I want to head over to the processes page. I want to talk about these beautiful collections that we have. Again, we have a few different templates that are currently ungrouped. Whenever you add a subject to this sector and don't identify which collection it needs to go in, it always lives in an ungrouped collection in the bottom. This is kind of the stuff that is like extra, it's the extra plastics that you put in the drawer and nobody looks at. That's okay. What I recommend for this is to take some time periodically to clean this up, because odds are there's going to be something in there that triggers your mind to say, oh yeah, I got to build that subject. And so don't let your ungrouped collection at the bottom of your processes page go on forever. Sometimes I see quite a bit of stuff in here. So here's what I recommend. This template that's a training starter, it lives in our template marketplace. I can download it anytime. So for now, all I'm going to do is archive it. You can easily pull up the subjects that you've already archived, and that removes it from my screen. It makes it nice and clean. I don't have to worry about it for now. I highly recommend that you start to clean up your account, archive what you're not going to use, rewire your existing templates so that they have the visual cue of what you're doing with them in terms of works in progress. That's going to make your brain feel a lot better when you step into Trainual. I actually want to work on a specific piece of content. Remember that Bradford is our new EA. I want to work on this subject, the busy. Bradford, here's where I wanted to talk a little bit more about implementation, because we understand the navigation and how to glow up the account, but what about the actual content? Like sometimes it's hard for people to build content from scratch. What do you see on the implementation side?
Yeah, we get this request a lot in implementation. They say, I love this idea and we've got a lot of content to create. Do you have any hacks or shortcuts? And we all love to be as efficient with our time as possible. And so there is a strategy for this. And a lot of it is using externally created content or content that's already existing elsewhere that already serves your needs as well. So the most logical or common example of this is you use tools. So KQC Roofing uses a tool called Busy. It sounds like it's for payroll and some maybe project management stuff, things like that, or HR. But they use this tool. So if KQC is using a feature of Busy that's already documented by the Busy team, why would we write all the training for it? Again, that doesn't necessarily make sense, right? And so I think you're going to go through this, Rach, a little bit about how to do it. But we make it super easy in Trainual to go find that external content and then use it. So what's happened here is Rach has created a step called How to Clock In for Work. And we've gone in and we've gone to the YouTube channel for Busy, grabbed their How to Clock In and Clock Out video that they've already created. It's a minute and a half, Rach, something like that. And what we've done, all we had to do was take that hyperlink at the top and we clicked the blue lightning bolt at the top left, and we dropped that link into the quick embed, what we call quick embed here. And so what this does is now when a user's going through training in Trainual, they don't even have to leave Trainual to learn how to do that. I made a mistake early on in my career when I was training people. I thought, I've just hired this new person, and here's what I'll do. I'll give them the entire manual, this giant thing for this huge software we used to use. And I said, hey, sit here for 2 days and read this. And the person was like, okay, I'll read it. So they're sitting there diligently reading it, whatever. And I said, all right, great. It's your turn to put in a sales proposal. Here you go. Here's the information. And they said, oh, well, where's the such and such button? Like, oh, we don't actually use that part of the tool. We don't subscribe to that. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, hey, how do I put in this? I'm like, we actually don't use that piece of it either. And I'd spent all these hours sending them to the training for a tool, which they didn't even need to use. And so what we're doing with this strategy is we're taking small pieces of the actual training help content that a tool or something else gives us. We're embedding it into Trainual, telling our users, this is what I want you to learn. And then we're applying that here so that they can stay in Trainual, watch the video, and they're good to go.
Thanks, Bradford. Love that review. And folks, hopefully you saw me logging into the YouTube page where I found the Busy content. And then I just brought up their How to Clock In video and brought that right into Trainual. And I was able to use the quick embed to drop that in. I also want to show you the second thing that you can do to accelerate this content creation process, in addition to leveraging the stuff that lives in the marketplace today, is using Compose. Like Chelsea said, we're not all writers, or if we are, we got writer's block. So here's where I like to just kind of spitball and say, we use Busy. We like it. It's great. It helps. It's effective. Yeah, that's simple. I'm going to go ahead and hit Compose, and that's going to leverage both the topic title, the subject title, and all the information in my account to build a really great step that I didn't have to sit here and type out and figure out all by myself. Here's what it says. At KQC Roofing, we understand the importance of accurately tracking employee hours and ensuring timely payroll processing. Like, I could have come up with that. I could have, but it just saved me so much time. I'm going to hit the use this button. That's going to drop that directly into my step. I'm going to highlight this little heading here. I'm going to pop this in here, add my little horizontal line. Friends, how easy is it to just pop this information in? And you know what? I'm going to throw in a GIF here. Clock in. Let's see what comes up. This part is unproc. Oh, look at this TikTok. There you go.
You don't have any other secret images or GIFs of me that you're planning on using for the rest of this presentation, do you?
Honestly, missed opportunity for sure, because that would have been amazing. I'm going to make this GIF rounded and shadowed, and you saw how quickly I was able to build an entire subject that tells my end users how to clock in for work with the talk track and the GIF, super complete. I just wanted to showcase this so that as you're building out your content, you're going to be jazzed because we're showing you some cool stuff. You're about to finish for your break and you're going to jump into Trainual and rock out and all the things. Don't feel like you need to build it all from scratch. leverage the stuff that lives in the marketplace, leverage Compose to accelerate that, and then use Loom to record your own videos. What else you got, Bradford? Anything that's coming up in the chat that we want to cover here?
The last thing I love that you did right there is you added all that text and that search bar that they were going through on a session or two prior to us about searches. All this content's searchable now, which is great. So either use Compose to give it that extra info, or if you just want to put a couple of bullet points below the video, this video covers this, and this. Now, next time somebody forgets to clock in or clock out or something, they can come back and search it either on their app or on desktop, and it'll find it there. So we're getting kind of a 2-for-1 punch here. We're getting a video, we're getting the text. It's extra accessible for our folks who, the text helps them consume the content, but then we're making it searchable as well. So I love what you did with this step, Rach.
Great call out, Bradford, because we're not just building the initial onboarding experience here. We're preparing for the future. We're preparing for people to be able to empower people to log in and find answers for themselves and create their own journey and own their experience. So great call out. The search is going to be really valuable to your people in a month from now, 2 months from now, when they're like, man, what was that thing on how to log in? I forget, busy bee, busy something. It's easy. They just got to ask Trainual, how do I clock in for the job?
Yes, everyone wants to get paid, myself included. So, and now that I work at KQC, I will now know apparently how to clock in. You've written the training for me, so thanks for that. We did have one question about e-signatures real quick. Since we're good on time, I'll let you address that one in the policies page. The policies, and Seth on our team dropped a great answer in the chat as well. But the policies are e-signed via topic. So anything you want a signature on in the topic level, you can go ahead and do that. Rach was showing that we would recommend doing it on the actual policy rather than the introduction or something like that. But you could have multiple e-signatures in a subject if you want to. A best practice would be how it's formatted right now. Introduction, actual policy require the signature on that topic, that second topic there.
Good call out.
Yeah, last thing, sorry. We did have someone in the chat say that they use that emoji process for just defining things or tagging things, so to say, on it. And I've actually seen this work really well. Policies normally are a more formal thing that you don't joke about as much, where it's you want someone to really be serious about whatever they're consuming and signing. So I do like that strategy personally of kind of giving them all either just a circle or something like that. Then in your welcome to your company and your other things, you can kind of get a little silly with it with contextual emojis and such. But I personally like that strategy, and I saw a couple of people in the chat that said they used that as well.
I'm heading over to my desk page, and I feel like this looks so different than when we started because we've got our emojis updated. The color is very specific to the branding. Folks, we're building out Trainual, not just for the admin's view, but for the outcome, right? We want to see what this is going to look like for the person that we're hiring. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out of Ivan's account. Bradford, did you set up your account well? You're good.
Yeah, it should be ready to roll for you. I accepted my invite. I have not seen a payroll invite or anything from KQC yet, but I do have Trainual access already.
Awesome. All right, let's go ahead and log into the account, but we're going to look at this from the general user perspective. We're going to reveal what all this awesome work did for us.
One of the things that is often mentioned a lot is how can I see what the end user looks like? And so we are making that experience a lot more seamless in the app right now, but or in the future with the coming releases. But one way you can do this without using like a long-term user seat is you can just go ahead and invite yourself via a personal email or an email address alias, something similar to that. And then you could add that test person with the role that you want them to have, with all those different things. You can experience what the sign up flow is. So that's really helpful. And then you can just delete or archive that user. So you never even have to have it use up a space. It'll just use up a space for an hour while you kind of test it out. We do also have another template in the account, which is welcome to Trainual or how to use Trainual. And it says for general users. So if you search in the template library, general users, it'll show up for you. I've been on a lot of implementation calls with customers recently where they are leveraging this how to use Trainual subject as one of the first things on my company. So it kind of gets everybody acclimated to what they're supposed to be doing in Trainual. So I really like that strategy as well. Let's see. We did get a question. What would be the first step you would recommend to take if you're a completely new admin user on Trainual? So I'm going to plug my teammate, Sean, here for something we call Trainual U. I believe it's trainual.com/TrainualU. If not, somebody correct me in the chat. But what this is a completely asynchronous training environment where we train you how to use Trainual at a high level on your time. You can do it whatever time you want to. So if you're brand new to Trainual, I would encourage you, trainual.com/university. Thank you so much. I would encourage you to do that there. That's really the best thing to do. The next thing to do would just be to go into those settings there, get everything branded. The people experience we have made super, super easy. Shout out to our team who's made the people experience easy. The people is a great way to get started, like Rach did today on our session, just get everything, the base built for all this. So I would start with Trainual U, and then next is I would start over on the people experience.
This is the experience that we're wanting to build for people. You log in, you know exactly that you landed in the right place. Your company that you signed up for, the brand is everywhere inside of the account. And what a lovely touch for Bradford to log in and say, wow, they actually made a space for me. My bio is already updated or my photo is already updated. And imagine day one, Bradford knows exactly what he's responsible for. And the content that is assigned to his My Desk page has a clear alignment between those list of responsibilities and what he's about to learn. This is the experience that we encourage you to build for your people because it just adds a lovely touch and it's a great way to immerse people into your training grounds. This is the final product. What are we thinking? Do we love it? I need to know. Looks great. Kamal says, thank you. Amazing. Yeah. All the vibes in the chat. I love that. Thank you all so much. All right, friends. We started with an account review, revealed some opportunities for quick wins, revealed a future content map, and we optimized the user experience. Woohoo! You, Bradford, it's been lovely working with you. I really appreciate you. You now work at KQC. It's nice. It's been nice knowing you. We're sorry to see you go, but you're all set up and fired and ready to go.
Thank you, Rach. Great job, Rach. Drop it in the chat how much you enjoyed Rach doing a great job going over that. So super proud to partner with you on this. There's a couple of things that if you do want some extra help with your account on this, reach out to us at Trainual. We do have a full success team that can help you with this. Our support team and our success team are standing by to make that happen. We do want to plug trainual.com/university so you can learn some of the general ideas of how to make this happen yourself. And then help.trainual.com has some great strategy guides that Sean, Rach, myself, others on our team have written to help make this happen for you. So and if you're not a customer, if you're watching this, we'd love to partner with you in building your business playbook. We're excited.
Awesome.
Special thanks to KQC Roofing for allowing us to showcase their account today. I'm so glad I saw you all in the chat. It was great to see you all there. So KQC, I am just on Google Flights looking for flights to Great Falls. So hopefully see you by the end of the week. And we're going to send this back over to our Trainual teammates there at the office.
Way to go. All right. So much love in the chat for Rach and even Sean, who wasn't on here, but everybody knows Rach and Sean as success coaches here do such an incredible job. And Bradford and his whole team on the implementation side.